Have you guys been practicing, Greg? Anand?
Bala, okay, right. You asked a question. Actually, in my Mac, right, with the Catalina, I was not able to work with Gecko driver.
Gecko driver. Oh, okay.
Gecko driver,
Mhm.
and it is a known bug to Firefox as well. So they given alternative way, which I tried actually, but I couldn't figure it out.
When you say you couldn't work with the Gecko driver means, I don't understand. What the later different version of the Firefox Gecko driver, or else?
No. The latest whatever it is there, it's 0.26.
Okay.
Okay. And I downloaded as usual as been said. Everything was fine, but the thing was it is a compatible issue because right now after Catalina
Uh-huh.
version 10.15, Apple is expecting not notarization of any app.
Oh, okay.
Okay, which I think Gecko driver has not done for that version.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, can you check your
Yeah.
OS?
You mean the this
Yeah,
version? Where is the demo info?
this back. Oh, yeah, you are in Mojo.
Oh, you updated it. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now I understood. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. This kind of issue will be there actually. Yeah. You can probably use Chrome. Chrome
Yeah,
browser.
Chrome is the one I'm using, but
Okay.
I
Chrome.
tried couple of options as well. Like they said, you can use the attribute. I mean, directly use the curl to download. I tried out, but it's not
What is the
doing the
issue
job.
exactly? You mean the Gecko driver is not opening, or else the?
Yes, it is not opening.
Oh, okay. It's not. It is not able
1 minute,
to.
I'll show 1 minute.
Yeah.
One
Share your
minute.
screen.
See to the link which I sent.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I think what they mean by is like not don't download it via internet, download it
Yes.
using the curl command. Okay, okay. So when
I
you
tried to download using the curl command.
uh-huh.
It was a gunzip file, but when I tried to unzip it, right, it was not working properly again.
Okay, let us try it. I don't have terminal here.
So the other option was we need wget. So I installed
Oh, okay.
Groovy everything, but still.
Who knows where is how did you download then? You used wget, is it?
Yeah, wget.
Do I have
It did
wget?
not work
Yeah.
directly, but we need to have that.
App install.
Yeah, you need to or npm installed, or at least the brewery installed.
Wget. From 0 to 200. No, still not there. Completely forgot it's apt-get or something.
Wait, let me see the command.
Yeah, install wget.
No, I think you need to install wget in another different way.
Oh, is it?
Everything had a procedure, well, actually.
Oh, okay. You have to
I was
come
not
back.
able to install wget directly. So where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, sudo apt-get. Yeah, that's what I forgot. Oh, so that also won't work, is it?
No.
Apt-get itself is not there. What the hell?
You have to first download to the Xcode, and from the Xcode, then you need to
Xcode, okay.
get the certificate.
Oh, brew install. Okay. Extract files and then cgwget and then configure router. Oh, okay. But the gecko driver,
I don't know where to run this command. Etc. X
no, this is
right? I don't know
yeah.
where to run that command.
No, once because the X attribute itself won't be installed, I guess actually. So what has to be done is like no, first apt-get needs to be apt-get itself not there actually. Okay, so I assume X attribute command is also not there. Oh no, that's there. Well, why? What was it? Oh, it was saying that. Okay, there is no gecko driver. Okay, yeah, you just need to give the link to the gecko driver actually. Once we
The path.
okay to bypass notice requirement on. If you have downloaded the gecko driver target via a web browser, you can run this command. Yeah. So what we have to do is like no the gecko driver, right? You have to give the path actually here. So
Okay.
that's why it's saying the gecko driver is not found.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because my gecko driver was, I think it was in the. Yeah, mine was in Bombro, not this one. Yeah, we would have used it in the path. In the IntelliJ, we would have given it in the path. Did anyone else join? No, okay. Just 2 minutes to start the session. So if I give this, yeah, I think it has done it. I think. Just try and execute like this order actually when you have time.
Just a moment. Show me.
So I just gave the path, full path actually. Rather than
Okay. Then it is accepting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do that.
Okay. Yeah, let me start. Okay, so we are going to start with JUnit today. Okay, today will be probably the last session where we have the it's like a course session. So from next week onwards we will do with the project. Okay, and probably it will take 2 or 3 classes actually to do the project. Okay. So let me tell you what is JUnit and why it was conceived first of all. Okay, JUnit, as it named the mentioned name itself, like no, you can understand it is a unit testing framework. It was built by for Java, specifically for Java programmers. Okay, so when they first launched it, is like no earlier days the unit testing was done by the tester also, and then they wanted the unit testing to be done by the developer and the tester. They wanted the unit testing to be completely done by the developer. So, and then there is some noise, guys. Yeah, rather than going in a traditional way, like, they wanted a framework which is really simple and then quite powerful as well. Okay, that is what JUnit. There were a lot of framework around at that time, and JUnit really took off because of the simplicity, and then all the features it came back. Okay, that is the reason JUnit stood alone, and then JUnit became really famous among developers, and then pretty much any Java developer you would have know, right, they would have used JUnit at one point of time for the unit testing purpose. And then because of the features available in the test framework, right, when they want it is really quite famous actually. And then it doesn't mean that you can use it only for the unit testing. You can use it for the system testing, you can use it for the functional testing, but you have to sacrifice some of the JUnit principles. But the testing framework available inside the JUnit, right, you can use that in your system testing or functional testing. Okay, because the architecture, how it was designed, right, it was really useful for the testers as well, rather than us. When we come to the testing, right, there is again a lot of frameworks are available. Why JUnit is quite famous among the Java project. Whoever is going to use Java as their automation language, right, they prefer JUnit or TestNG. Okay, whenever they talk about TestNG, TestNG is like it's a not next version of it. It is a separate tool, but it's really identical to JUnit with a lot of additional features inside in it. Okay, that is what the TestNG is. Okay, really similar to each other. JUnit and TestNG are really similar to each other. Okay, but TestNG is also quite famous. Okay, because it is new, not many people use it. Only it is that is why they named it like that actually. Okay, they didn't want to name it only for unit testing. They wanted something for the it can be used for used by both the developer and the tester. That's why they named it TestNG. Okay, NG is test engine actually. That's why it's TestNG. Okay, so if you learn JUnit, you would have learned like half of TestNG. Okay. So, and then we are going to cover JUnit 4 today, and JUnit 5 is also out there actually, and it is also picking up steam. Okay, because why I wanted to cover JUnit 4 is if I covered JUnit 4, that will be really simple and easy to understand, and then quite powerful as well. And all the JUnit and pretty much most of the systems who are operating today, everyone uses JUnit 4. Okay. So if they start anything new, because they changed a lot of the annotations in the JUnit 5, but the behind meaning remained the same. So that is why JUnit 5 is a bit slow picking up, but they also have added a lot of the features what TestNG addressed, what the JUnit 4 didn't have, TestNG addressed it, and then the JUnit 5 addressed a lot of those missing functionalities. Okay. But still, till today, all the existing systems, all the legacy systems, everything would have used JUnit 4. Okay, and then you can use the JUnit framework to build your own test case, and then to to build the source and everything. So that it's really easy for you to do it. Okay, and then when you use any kind of build tool like Maven or Gradle or Ant or anything like that, they also can pick up the they also go well with the JUnit framework. Okay, they integrate very well with the JUnit framework. Okay, so these are just a topic. Okay, so basic idea is JUnit is a test framework designed for the unit testing purpose. Okay, but because of the simplicity and then because of the power of the JUnit, it grew beyond that, and then a lot of testers also started using the framework in their functional testing as well. But yeah, as I told in the starting itself, you have to sacrifice some of the unit testing principles, actually some of the JUnit principles, but the framework was really useful for the functional testing. Okay, and I'm going to go not deep to a certain level. I'm going to go bit deep, but there are a lot of other features also available in the JUnit which we won't be able to cover it, but those are all very specific requirements basis. Okay, I highly recommend you to investigate tutorials in JUnit, advanced JUnit tutorials, those kind of things. Okay, once we done with the session and after you practice whatever we discussed today. Okay, it will be really, useful actually. Okay, when you come to, because if someone has developed the framework language, it will be quite simple for you. You can just use that and then work on it. But when a time comes to for you to develop the framework from the scratch, right, you need to get you need to think of what is your requirements and decide whether the JUnit is enough for you, or else we need Justin, or else there are the JSP like Jasmine, or some other things you have to decide, right? You have to have a hands-on experience on all this kind of different kinds of framework available in the market. Then only you can make a good decision. Okay, what kind of framework I need to use. Okay, we'll cover JUnit in this course. Okay, which is the basic of everything. Okay, which will cover all the common annotations used to cover was the different framework. Okay. First of all, there are some kind of basic naming conventions are involved when writing test cases. Okay. Let's start with that. Okay, and then shall I create a new project? Okay, we don't need a new project. Okay, so what they one second. Just recap. Okay. Not basic, all the necessary. Okay. So when I say all the associations, like now, because rather than you doing the if and checking and then sending a message and then failing the test case, like now, all those things are provided by the JUnit itself, and then the suit creation, and then the how the test needs to be done, and then disabling a test, grouping a test. All those features are available in the test in the JUnit, so that you don't need to do it. Okay. These are just basic things about the JUnit. Okay, when someone asks about JUnit, like now you can tell it's a unit testing framework which was designed for specifically for the Java projects. Okay, and then nowadays it is you being not nowadays from the when it was conceived itself, like now it was in like 2004 or something like that. I don't remember the exact date. It was from the time it was conceived, like now the functional testers also started to use it when the automation took off, right? When the UAE automation, UAE came into when the web development came into the picture and UAE automation took off, the JUnit also took off actually. So a lot of people use that one, so that they don't want to write all the association and all those tools from the scratch. Okay, they just borrow it everything from the JUnit or else the TestNG or whatever they use. Okay, so the naming conventions. I need to tell this thing actually because it's a really good practice to do that. Okay. Testing. It's not only for the JUnit actually. Okay, so what is one of the main naming convention? What they do is like the class which you got the test case, right? They end the suffix should be a test suffix should be a word called test. So how they do it is like now, say for example, you're doing something like login verification. Okay, that is going to be your class name. It's like no, it's better to end it with test. Okay, so login verification test, so that like no, you can differentiate that's going to have only the test. It's not a development code. Okay, because we are not amateur developers. We want to be because it's not nothing wrong with using just login verification itself, but that doesn't look professional. So that we need to follow certain standards so that like it will look good. And then sometimes static analysis won't fail it. Sometimes static analysis can be pain, and then it can also highlight this one, saying that if you run your automation code to static analysis, right, it may also highlight these kind of these kind of issues, saying that it's not grouped properly or something like that. Okay. Okay. And then and then how they do it is like all the test code whatever you got, right, it's better to play. So usually how they differentiate is like now in the JUnit world, right, so that the Maven also can pick it up. Maven is a build tool. Okay, again /c/java not java test /java, yeah, /java /c/v/java. okay. Usually this is the location where they keep the where all test cases are kept, and the location where all the development code is kept. Okay, so these are the simple things you need to better follow. Okay, so now let's show and let's start with that one demo. Okay, by following that principle right now, let me create a package called test.java. Create package. I'm going to let's do some okay. Oh yeah, before we do that, like now I also don't have JUnit installed, so let's go ahead and download the libraries. Okay, JUnit for okay. So once you go to this link, right, I think you need to you need to download these two things, because JUnit is your main JUnit framework. All the codes are there, and this is a dependent. JUnit uses this library. Okay, let's download these two. You need to download the jar file. Okay, let's go and step back. You can create the folder anywhere you want. You just need to remember it and then give it. Okay, so these two items are there. Now let's include the dependency, when how we did for the Selenium starting, right? The same way. Okay, open model settings. If I go to libraries, yeah, these are the Selenium ones. Let's add some more. Okay, and then we'll go to Unit desktop. JUnit. Okay. That's it. Okay. So let's start with the annotations. Okay. Okay. First annotation is the tester. So what they mean by annotations means like what the literal meaning of annotation is tagging something. Okay. So they use this tag concept so that they want to tell the framework, JUnit framework, what is what. Okay, what is the purpose of the function, what is the purpose of the class, how the testing is going to be done. They using the annotations, they will do it. Annotations, whenever they talk about in Java, annotation means like no, it starts with at. Okay, at. That's what annotations always starts with. Okay, there is lots of people use annotations in different way. Okay, because there is a JSON annotations is there. TestNG has got its own annotations, and then what else I can think of actually. Yeah, and then Spring Boot has got its own annotations. Everything has got its own annotations. When I say annotations means like no, the only common thing they got is like no, everything starts with at. Okay, so if you type art anywhere right now, you will see all the annotations available for you. Okay, so this depreciated, like no, this is a Java annotation telling that to the developers, don't use that anymore, this functionalities anymore. These are all Java X annotations, and then annotations start somewhere. Yeah, here starts the annotations. See, these annotations belongs to JUnit. So a lot of different framework. Everyone has got their own annotations. It all serves different purpose. Okay. Now, so what annotations? No, to tag with a specific functionality, that's not a correct meaning. I will just put a tag a function or class at the moment. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, say for example, what is the basic annotation? What we need is like no, we need to tell a function that is going to be a test case. Okay, so what is the annotation is for? Is really simple, at test. Okay, you just need to do this. Why? Oh yeah, I didn't do the C. This is going to be a test case, right? I told you. So for the JUnit framework, we need to tag what are the test cases we got. Okay. So if you want to tell this function is going to act as a test case, means all you need to do is like add annotation saying that at test. Okay. The JUnit will immediately know. You can have other methods you want, helper methods you want. Okay. Private. Okay, so this is another method in the class itself, but this is not tagged as a test, so the JUnit will know that this is not a test case. Okay, so whatever method that has been tagged as a test that becomes a test case itself. Okay, now in most of the circumstances, like no, we need to do something before we run the test case, like preparing the database or preparing the setting up the config files or preparing the system to make. So usually the test case, like no, in anyone who has done the testing, right, no, there'll be a precondition and then the post condition. Usually the precondition, right? Precondition should be done before each test case. Okay, so usually you need a functionality where you can do certain code before you start your test case. Okay, for that purpose, like no, what they gave us was like no, there is another tag called as before. Everything starts with capital letter. Yeah, at before. Let's call it as test setup. Okay, usually whatever you want to set up functionalities you want to do is like no, you have to do. I'll just put a because a printf statement here. Okay, Something. Okay. Okay. So and then you need a way to the after also there is an annotation called as after as well, which acts like now once a test case is done, this step will be executed. Okay. Okay. Just okay. Okay. Let's run this one. Okay. Simply see. It's really easy to understand it. It might be a bit too much information at the moment, but if you just sit and analyze, think and try to understand it, it's really simple. Okay. And then the good thing here is the IntelliJ, right? Immediately, because you have used a test tag, right? Immediately it will know that it is a test case class, and then you can just straight away run it. Okay, it will run it in a JUnit framework. Okay. See this one okay. See it is actually a test step. So multiplication test is a test case, and then in that one that is a class, and it has got it can have multiple test cases in it, and then one of the we at the moment we got only one test case called verify multiplication. Okay, and then if you click that, what happened in the verify multiplication, it will say. If you look at this right now, so the first thing what it called was this before annotate whatever function that has been tagged with before annotation got executed, and then the actual test case got executed, and then the after execution got updated. Usually what they will do is they will do the log checks, they will prepare the say for example something you want to put the system in a certain state, you want to set some config file, set up some config file, or else if you are doing error scenarios turn off something in the system and run the test case and turn it back on once the test case is done. That's what usually be done here in these kind of things. Okay, so that is a basic functionality of before and test, and then you can have any number of test cases you want. Okay, I'll just do something like this. And then when you run it, right, see how there is only one test case at the moment, right? You just run it, it will have two test cases in it. See, there are two test cases. Okay, so if, as I told you before running the first thing, before running the multiplication, it executed this one first, test step, setup, the before annotation and the test case, and then the after. Okay, and again the same thing will followed by the division as well. Okay, the before will be executed, and then the test case will get executed, and then the after will get executed. Okay, so you need to understand that before will get executed before each and every test case. Okay, and the after will get executed for each and every test case when the test case is done. Okay, so these are the three basic annotations what you need to see. Okay, and then we'll see as well. Test. It's a test case. Okay. At before It's really that simple. Okay, so the art test annotation tells the test case that it is going to be a test case. Art before annotation tells that please run this piece of code before you run the test case, and then art after will tell you that run this one after you do that. Okay, so basically. Anyone who has done testing before or has gone through some kind of course right now, they will absolutely know about the precondition and the post condition. Okay, usually they will didn't. You shouldn't use that. When I say post condition means right now, it's not an expected output. Okay, you should do the expected output check in the at the test function itself. Usually, the best example is like setting up the because usually when the actual testing starts, right, the system will be in the nominal state. Okay, so when you want to do something special means like you have to set up the system in a certain way you want, and then do your test case, and then you need to undo the whatever settings you did. Okay, that is the best practice to do. So that's why art test and art before and after works as. Okay, there is one more thing because, and keep this thing in mind, before and after will be executed before each and after each and every test case in the class. Okay, and if you want to have a method which is going to be executed only once before you start the test case, and only once after you do the test case, after all the test case got executed, right, there is a way also. So that is just before class. Just write it. Nice. Okay. So let's see this. Usually what they will do is like now before you do any kind of test case, like now you want to make sure the system is in the correct state, so that you can carry forward the testing. Because if the system itself is already in a bad state, right, and you do any kind of testing and the test case will fail left and right. Okay, so and then you don't need to go and investigate why each and every test case is failed. So if you do that kind of precondition checks before you start any kind of test case, right, so if you want to do that, that is what this thing comes into really helpful. Okay. It doesn't need to be in order, you can give anywhere you want. Yeah, speaking of order, I'll just tell you one more thing. Yeah, don't think like no all these things we have to learn or everything like that, because the thing is like no if you take me itself for an example, like now what I have like 12 years of experience, everything I learned it gradually. That is the reason I am so comfortable with that. So but the thing is like now I didn't work on the JUnit itself for like so many years. I have used it as a Java developer, JUnit framework before actually, when I was doing actual development itself. So don't think that you're learning too much or it's not too much information, it's really hard or anything like that. Once you learn this one, like now, once you understand this one, you will know this by like your back of your palm. Okay, so it's all these concepts are like not really easy. The only thing is like no, don't try to remember it or anything like that. Try to understanding it. Okay, until unless, because all the information you can find it from Google. Okay, anything you want you can get it from Google, but the only thing what the Google can't do is like no, make you understand the things. Okay, that you have to know, you have to understand it. Okay, I may forgot the annotations. All you have to know is like in the back of your mind that this is possible, there is a way to do it. Okay, once you know that there is a way to do it, then you can investigate and find it out. Okay, once you start checking the Google, like immediately you will know, come to know, oh, okay, yeah, I've done it in the past. Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, so just final title. Okay, if I run this one, right? So what I'm expecting is like now first this needs to be executed before class, then before will get executed once, then the this test case will get executed, and then the after will get executed. Okay, then again the before will get executed, then the next test case will get executed, then again after will get executed. So after there is no more test case left. So finally the after class will get executed. Okay, let's run it. Oh yes. Yeah, the reason is like now because it's going to be called only once. This thing won't need to be created again and again. That's why it needs to be static. It is asking that. Again, see, I forgot this thing actually. Okay, so it's not a problem. All you need to know is like now just what the before class does, what the after class does. That's it. Okay. So if you see this, right, before class this line got executed first, and then the before, and then the test case got executed, and then the after again, now before, and then the test case got executed, and then after class. Okay, so this is the way it got executed, and you can go and check it in the individual test case. This is the full output, and then you can just check the test case output. Okay, now I'm just going to do one small thing. Okay, I'll show you guys what happens if the test case fails. Okay. No, is it asset? Yeah, asset for everything. Yeah. See, to tell you the test case is failed. Okay, one test case is passed, another test case is failed. Okay, I think you can generate the reports and all this crap if you want actually. Okay, I'm pretty sure in IntelliJ you can do that actually. Not here. I may need to dwell deep into it. It's not worth it actually. But I'm pretty sure you can investigate and find it. I'm pretty sure you can. IntelliJ itself can have a report, and then yeah, those are all very good exercises. How to generate a report? There is a way to generate reports somehow. Okay, this one. So I'm till this one everyone is clear, right? What are the annotations, basic annotations you have seen till now? Okay, and there's one more thing called as you need to know this called there are a lot of other annotations. The basic ones are like this called as ignore. Okay, sometimes like in the TDD, no, not in the TDD, probably in the BDD framework it will be useful. Okay, if you at any point of time if you deem that the test case is not complete or the test case is under construction, right, all you need to do is like you put ignore. Okay, and then this test case will be ignored and this test case won't get executed. See, only verify multiplication got executed. This thing you can simply say you can remove art test. It won't get executed. True, but the thing is like now it will look like a private function. It doesn't look good actually. it's not the right way of doing it. Okay, you know, if you know that is a test case, you may forget it. Okay, you may forget about this test case completely, because if you go away like no, and so the next person comes like no, and he looks at this. Okay, whatever the test tag, that is a test case, and all the other things are going to be are the utility function means like no, he won't have any idea. If you put ignore means like no, it means that it is a test case, but it is disabled at the moment for some reason, so it should be it will be enabled in the future. Okay, so that is what the ignore keyword is.
Bala,
Yeah.
so I think we also could always put a comment if we put the ignore, so we know why it's like that.
True. Yeah. You can just put a simple comment in the top. Actually, that is ignore for blah blah blah, whatever reason you want. Okay, that is also good practice of coding. Everything, because we want to be a good developer. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, you need those are all things. Okay, what else? Yeah. Okay, so these are the basic annotations in the test framework. Okay, and there is a concept called assertion. This is one of the main reasons why they use it. Okay, so say for example, you want to check a multiplication. Okay, so you want this is a test case you want to check. Okay, so say for example, I'm multiplying two things, two values, and then I want to check it means like no, what I will do is like no. No, just one second. Okay, you do this. Okay, now if you run this, it will automatically. This is how you do the test case. Okay, so one second. Yes. No, let's do it in that way. So okay, let's do it equal to it. So test case way. But you do, and another important thing is you don't have any way of telling the framework, because even if you type this right, it will consider as a test pass, because you haven't told the JUnit the test case has failed. Okay, so if you run this means like no, it's a simple thing. Okay, so you just check it and then it will be passed, because 9 is the expected kind of value. Okay, but if you multiply 3 and 4 and expect 9, right, the test case is going to it will still pass, but it should be fail according to you. Okay, it will tell pass, because the reason is like no, if the test case is able to finish till the end, right, it will immediately assume that test case has passed, because if the test case has failed means like no, at the line where it failed, right, at that line it will throw an exception, and then it won't carry forward the next line. So by that logic, right, once if the line of execution reaches the end of the end of that function, right, it means that everything has gone properly above. So it means that the test case has passed. Okay, there was no exception, nothing was thrown. Okay, but if you want to tell the JUnit framework that the assertion it has failed means like no, there is a class called as assert, and then they provide all type of, if you put assert dot, right, they give you all type of checks you want. If you want to compare integer, long, short, string, object, anything you can compare. Okay, so all you have to do is like no, assert dot equals. I think you can just do equal. No, you don't need the array. 1 second, wait. Yeah, assert equals. Yeah, assert equals. First, you need to give the message. If the comparison fail means like no, what's going to happen? Okay, so application has failed. All you need to do is like no, what is expected output, and then what is the actual output that came through. Expected output is 9, and the result is set. Okay, so this is the expected output, then this is the actual output. You don't need this anymore. Okay, now you have replaced that 4 lines of code into a single line. Okay, now you do this, obviously the test case will pass. It's nothing actually. Okay, if you look at the assert, right, again that is a class, and in that one they have given bunch of static classes. That's why I was able to call that class without creating an object. Okay, so if you go right here, okay, so assert equals compares the it does all sorts of comparison. So I'm comparing two integers. Okay, so the test case obviously has passed. Say for example, but I was supposed to do 3 and 4 multiplication. Okay, but I'm doing 3 and 3. So the expected output is 12, but the actual output is going to be 9. So if you look at this, right, always you have to give the failure message here. Okay, if the test case if the assertion passes, means it won't give any special message on the console. But if the test case, if the comparison fails, right, you need some information to be presented to the user or else whoever uses it. Okay, that information is given here. Okay, so if you look at this, right, so the expected is 12, but the actual available is 9 because I'm multiplying 3 by 3. Okay, so the result is 9, but the actual expected value is 12, and it has just told you the information saying that that's what assertion error basically, and then the information is the multiplication has failed. Okay, this is what multiplication is failed. In this way you can compare anything you want. Okay, so again assert equals simple string comparison. Okay, so this is the message, and then this is the expected, and this is the actual. If you look at this, right, okay, yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so at the line of 24, the error has happened. Okay, after executing this line, right, if it fails, right, it will never try to execute this line. Okay, so if you run this one, only this comparison will be done. This won't be done because the test case has already failed. Okay, that's why exception will be thrown at the line 24, and then the 25, 26 won't get executed. The only way the next line it will go to the next line if there was no exception thrown at this in this one. Okay, so if you run this one, the next thing has failed. It has gone to the next line. Now the Mac and Windows are getting compared, and they are not equal to each other. String is not equal to each other. That's why it's failing. Okay, and this one. Okay, simple. Just is passed. Okay, so this assert, it's really simple concept. Okay, just to we basically use it everywhere in our. We will be using like Selenium, in the Selenium or whatever it is. Like no, we will use it everywhere to compare the strings. Basically, what is testing? Okay, comparing the expected with the actual. Okay, expected input with the output or some expected with the actual. Okay, to do that comparison you need a way to do that comparison. Okay, if you do it manually, you will use your eyes to do it. If you do it programmatically, you have to write a class, or else you need to borrow a class from some third party. So that third party is assert equals. Okay, it will give you everything. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have done it a lot actually. So you can compare arrays, you can compare an object, you can compare a list, everything. Okay, if you type assert dot, means the split row of this thing will come across. You see this scroll bar, so many things will be available. You can compare arrays, you can compare booleans, anything you want you can compare. Okay, everything is available. And at any point of time, there is one small thing you need to know. At any point of time, if you want to fail a test case, like there is a method called as fail itself. Okay, say for example everything has gone. Sorry, you know that you are doing an if comparison. If you are not doing the assert, and if you're doing an if comparison, and if you want to fail the test case, this is how you tell the JUnit that the test case has failed. Okay, so you just tell it. It's as simple as this. Okay, so there is no expected and actual. The reason is like no, because you just failed it by yourself. Okay, so that's why there is no expected and actual here mentioned. Okay, because this is not an assertion failure. You have failed it. You have just using the assert class. You have just failed it. Okay, but this is not really an assertion failure. Okay, when they say assertion failure, means you are comparing two variables or two objects, and then you are failing it. Okay, they are not equal to each other. That's why you are failing. Okay, this is what assertion is called as. Okay, so now. So this is the there are two levels, okay? There are three levels, okay? So this is the basic level of JUnit framework, okay? If you know this right now, all you can say that I have learned the basic of the JUnit, okay? And then it's like, think of it's like a medium level, and then there is an expert level, okay? You don't need to go to expert level. So the medium level is like, you need to do a couple of additional functionalities, what are available in, like how do you create that suite, if there are multiple test cases are there, I'm just right clicking and running it, right? Let me do one more thing, okay? Very similar one. Let me do for arithmetic to test, okay? And then I will name this one as arithmetic 1. Okay, what I mean is like now in the arithmetic 1 there's going to be multiplication and division in arithmetic 1 test, okay? Okay, so in the 1 is going to be multiplication and division, in the 2 is going to be addition and subtraction. Okay, I'm just going to borrow the code because most of the things are same. Okay, then with this, let me change this to okay. Sorted, okay, and you can run this too. You have 2 test cases in it. Yeah, you failed. Oh yeah, the ignore is that, that's why the subtraction is completely executed. Let's change it to test. Okay, so the subtraction is failed. The subtraction says failed, okay. Yeah, the test case will pass now. Okay, so this is what. So, yeah, what the test case, right? Okay. Now, so everyone would have heard about the data-driven testing. Okay, what they mean by data, if you haven't heard of this, what is data-driven testing means, like, no, in many circumstances, say for example, you want to test the addition. Okay, if you want to test the additional functionality, or else, say for example, the best example, okay, the login page. Okay, the login page, what you have to do is like, no, you will write a test case in a think in a manual perspective. You'll write a test case, and then you'll have a whole bunch of login informations, okay, username and passwords, and you have to try all the username and passwords in your test case. Okay, the test case is going to be only one, but the scenario is going to be like there's going to be 5 scenarios in the test case. Okay, the test case should be executed in 5 different scenarios, okay, with 5 different username and passwords. Okay, so that to see one it fails, one it works properly, one is the admin login, or whatever it might be. So for example, there are 5 things, means like, no, the same thing how you do it in automation, that's what we are going to see the next. Okay, they call it as parameterized testing. Okay. Okay. So to tell the parameter, if to do the parameters testing, like, no, how we have done annotations for the methods, right? For that one, you have to make the annotation for the class itself. Okay, that is one of the, it's very common thing in JUnit. Okay, this run with. Okay, this thing is very common. Inside this, there is lot of values are possible. Okay, so you have to tag the class saying that this is going to be data driven testing. Okay, it's going to be parameterized testing. Okay, so what you have to do is like parameterized just class. Okay, the parameter is again it's JUnit class. Okay, JUnit. Okay, it's JUnit class. Okay, so all you need to give is like just input the actual class itself. Okay, and then the JUnit will know that this is going to be a parameterized class. Okay, let's see how you can parameterize. Okay, let's say for example to test a multiplication or division, what we okay, yeah, and another concept is like when you are doing a parameterized testing, like it is highly recommended, or else it is best practice. It's not an error, but it is best practice, highly recommended. You have only one test case in a class. Okay, because the reason is like say for example you want to run the when the how the JUnit works is like it picks up the parameters and run all the test cases with that parameters. Okay, so that like the multiplications won't multiplication, say for example 4 and 4 is the input and the expected is 16. Okay, but the same thing if you give 4 and 4 for the division, expected will be 1, so you can't do that. Okay, so it is highly recommended to do like one test case have got one method in it. Okay, so let's not muddy this one. Okay, let's create one for multiplication here simply. Okay, as I told you before, we just need to tag this class parameters testing. This is the only thing you need to remember. All the concepts of what I'm going to explain next, like it will be very easy to understand it. Okay, it will be really clear. Okay, so this is going to be a test case only for multiplication, so I'm going to remove the division test case. Okay, and then we don't need this anymore. We don't need any of this anymore. Okay, we'll just use it, add it again. How we go designing it. Okay, so basically in a multiplication, what we need is like we need three things. Okay, two values that needs to be two data that needs to be multiplied, and the results what we need. Okay. So int, so for example val1. Okay, and then int val2 and int result. Okay. So now these are the three things that needs to that are going to be passed, and then that are going to be passed to the test case. Okay, so to tell the JUnit, these are the three things. These are the three parameters that needs to be passed to the test case. Like all you have to do is like there is another annotation called as parameter. 1 second. Sorry, parameter. क्या करती हूँ? Okay, so or there is a tag called as parameter. Okay, so you need to do and then parameter and tell the tag. I will tell you guys everything. Okay, the index of the parameter. Okay. Okay, I'll just do the code first and then explain to you guys. Okay, that will be pretty easy to understand. Okay, not easy, but better to understand. Okay. I'll do list itself. one second. Just, yeah. One second, this is the... Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. This is the first impulse. Second, third day is going to be 6, 6, 6. Nice. Let's do one failure as well. Okay. So that is done. The test. Let me run this once and see if this thing works properly. Expected. Oh yeah. Let's start it this way. Yeah, this thing. So whatever annotations, whatever you do, right? Everything needs to be public because the Junit framework, right? Which is not lives inside this code or lives inside this package for that matter, needs to access your variables or your methods. So wherever you annotations, right? It needs to be public. Okay, it definitely needs to be public. That then only the JUnit actual framework, right, that can access this variable. Because if it's a default mistake, no, the JUnit framework needs to sit inside this package, then only it can access, but it doesn't sit inside this package in your own package. Okay, in your own test package, it sits outside this test package. Okay, so for that needs to access, right, you need to give whatever, wherever you do the annotation. If you don't use JUnit annotation, like, no, you don't need to give public. You can give it as a private itself. It's absolutely fine. But if you want it to be accessed by the JUnit framework, it needs to be public. Okay, that's what I was complaining about. Okay, see, there is only one test case, but there are 4 test cases, 5 years has been run. So if you look at this, right, so what basically I'm doing is 2 and 2 is the input, and then the 4 is expected 1, 5 and 5 is input, 25 is expected, 6 and 6 36, 7 and 6 42, 8 and 9, right, rather than giving 72 I gave as 1, so that is the reason the test case has failed, saying that expected is 1 but the actual is 72. Okay, the multiplication has failed. Okay, if you look at this, right, the single test case has been run with different parameters. Okay, I can simply, what I can do is, like, I can just print out the whatever it's being run with. Okay, don't worry, I haven't explained anything yet. I'm just showing you demo. Okay, so if you look at this 0 test case, right, so the first thing is, so the 2 is a val 1, 2 is a val 2, and the result is expecting is 4. If you look at the second one, yeah, if you look at the second one, 5 5 25, that's what 5 5 25. Third one is 6 6 36, 6 6 36. Next one is 7 6 42, 7 6 42. Okay, and the fourth one, the expected is 8 9 1, but the actual is 72. Okay, now let's see how we did it. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Let's come from the top. Okay, now this is just a way to say that tell the JUnit that this class, right, this test class is basically made up of, it's going to be made, it's a parameters testing. It means that it is a data driven testing. Okay, so prepare yourself. Okay, that's what you're telling JUnit. Okay, now even if you don't understand this, there is another way. I'm going to show you one more way to do it, the parameters testing, which is a bit simpler than this. The same concept, bit simpler than this, but this is the basic one you need to understand. Okay, it's you can understand it pretty easily. Okay, there are 2 tags annotations you need to know. One is the parameter and this is the parameters. Okay, parameter means, like, you need to tag the parameter which are going to be values going to be fed at the runtime. Okay, these are the variables that are going to be values that are going to be fed at the runtime. Means, like, you need to tag that with the parameter. Okay, it's simple. Okay, during the runtime, the JUnit, if JUnit has the data, right, it needs to feed the data to the test case. Okay, how the data is fed to the test case is, like, using the variable. Okay, using any variable or any array or anything like that. Okay, you need to tell the JUnit framework which are the variables that needs to be value should be placed inside. Okay, so how you do is, like, with using the parameter tag. And how do you tell that, like, which value goes where is, like, using the index. Okay, so 0 means, so I haven't explained anything yet, I just concentrate on this one. Okay, so this is going to be the first index, this is going to be the index number 1, and this is going to be index number 2. So that's what you do. Index 0 means this will go into 2. Okay, you can do it like this. Okay, I can just simply reverse it. Okay, if I do this just 2, means, like, I'm just changing the result. Every test case will fail. Okay, so because what will happen is, like, this 4 will go as a val 1. So what will happen is, like, 4 into 2 will happen, and then it will expect 2. Same thing, 25 into 5 will happen. It will expect it on that, right? See, all the test cases fail. First time it has multiplied 2 and 4 and expecting 8 because you have tagged this as a 2. So where is the second index in this one is 0, 1, 2. Okay, so 4 will be fed into val 1. Okay, and then this is 1 and the 1 will be fed into the 2 will be fed into the val 2 and the result will be fed into 2. What you're doing here is, like, here you are multiplying the val 1 and val 2 and then expecting the result here. Okay, So that is the reason why it is fine. All the test cases will do the same thing. Okay, so the expected is, so 5 into 25 is 125. That is what it is expecting, and then 6 into that is 316. Okay, sorry, 216, and then 3 6 into what? No idea what is. So it's 252. So this is multiplied 252, and then they're expecting 7, and obviously in this one expect 9, but the actual result is 8. Okay, so that's why it failed. Okay, so that is what the tagging, how you tell that which are the parameters that needs to be, the value needs to be fed in at the runtime, and where the value should go is you tell it using the index, and you clearly see this like, it's like a parameter. Okay, now let's come to the actual data, what you're going to feed in. Okay, that is what that tag is at parameters. Okay, so parameter means that is the parameter, that is the actual variable. Parameters means that is the data which is going to be fed into that parameter. Okay, so that is the difference between the parameter and parameters tag. Okay, so in the parameters, it needs to be public static. Okay, for the Junit. Okay, so what you usually give is like, you give the list. Okay, object is like, because I've told you in the long before, like, object is the parent of all the objects in the Java, including the primitive, not primitive data types, primitive classes which was created for the data types, right? So object is the parent class for all the classes in the Java. Okay, so because of that, you have to, if you say that I'm going to return an object, like, you can return anything you want. Okay, integer or string or anything, everything will be accepted. Okay, so it's going to be, this is a common structure, it is expected. Okay, so that is what Junit framework expects. Okay, list object, it is expecting you to return a list object. Okay, now what I'm doing is like, I'm creating a two-dimensional array. The reason why I'm creating a two-dimensional array means like, if there's going to be only one scenario, means like, I don't need the I wouldn't need the parameters testing itself. The reason when I say one scenario means like, say for example, you just want to test 2, 2, 4, then single dimension is enough. Okay, when I say single dimension, right? Okay, sure. Okay, I'll just quickly go into the pattern. Okay. So we have only 0, 1, 2, right? So okay. Okay, so if you want to represent this 2, right, how you do is like, this is the row index and this is the column index. Okay, see, 0 of 0, 0 of 0 represents 2. Okay, and 0 of 1 represents this 2. Okay, and then 0 of 2 represents this 4. This is how the multi-dimensional array works. Okay, but if you have a single dimensional array, means like, where you don't have anything else, means like, what you will do, how we will, you don't need this 0 anymore, because this 0 is common. Okay, so all you need to do is like, just in a single dimension. Okay, when I say single dimension, you don't have this 5, 5, 2, 5, you only have 2, 2, 4, means like, you just need a single dimension is enough. But the point is like, if you have a single scenario, each one represents one scenario in our test case according to us. Okay, so if you have only one scenario, means like, you don't need a parameters testing itself. Okay, you don't need a data driven. When data driven come into picture is when you have multiple inputs to be tested, multiple inputs and multiple expected outputs are expected, means like, then only you will go for the parameters testing. That is why the two-dimensional array. Okay, so and then the same thing, if you 1 of 0, sorry, I didn't put anything here, right? Equal to 2, this represents 2, this represents 4, so this represents 5, and you get the picture. Okay, 1 of 1. sorry, 25, and it goes on. Okay, this is how the array is represented. Okay, that is why you need the multi-dimensional array, because you are going to not multi-dimensional. That's why you need two-dimensional array. You don't need a three-dimensional array. You just need a two-dimensional array. That is because you are going to mention multiple scenarios. Okay, so that is why it's two-dimensional array, and that is going to be of object. It is going to be of type of object. Okay. So, and this is just a variable name, and then I'm creating it, and then I'm initializing it at the runtime itself. Okay, so this is how I'm initializing it. Okay, if you want to initialize single dimensional array, single flower bracket is enough, because if you want to understand this, what I've done here is you need to understand the array clearly. Okay, how do you initialize the array? Okay, so this is a multi-dimensional array, so I'm giving two flower brackets. Sorry, one master flower bracket, and then so if it's a three-dimensional means you'll have another one more flower bracket here. Okay, so it keeps on going increasing. Okay, if the number of dimension increases. Okay, in a single dimension you just have one opening flower bracket and another closing it. Okay, in the two dimension you have one opening and closing, and inside this multiple flower bracket. Then in the three dimension again it goes on, increases like that. Okay, I have never used three-dimensional array, so very rare circumstance you will use three-dimensional array, because it is really hard to contemplate. Okay, you can go any number of dimension you want in array. Okay, so again, so 2 is going to be the one input, and the 2 is going to be the another input, and 4 is going to be the expected output. Okay, so what I'm doing is now I'm converting this array into a list because as I told you, it is expecting a list. It is not expecting an array as a return type. Okay, so I'm converting this data, this thing, okay, into a list. Okay, because this is the inbuilt Java method. Okay, which will convert an array into a list. Okay, and then it will convert the array into a list and then return it. Okay, so don't get bogged down on this one. Okay, this pattern is, forget this for a moment. Okay, this pattern is common for all the JUnit parameters. Wherever you go, this is the only thing they would have used. Okay, so even if you don't understand really clearly, you will understand it gradually when you start working in Java. In the meantime, you can just copy it and paste it across and just change this one, this input values alone. Okay, to whatever you want. Okay, you can have any number of parameters you want. Okay, you can increase the parameters here. Okay, you can have a third parameter. If you have the fourth parameter, you just need to increase this one more value here. Okay, so that is how you do it. Okay, now what I was telling you. Okay, so how it will assign is so it knows what are the variables that the data is going to be fed into, and now the JUnit also knows what are the data that needs to be fed in. Okay, so what it will do is it will run the test case, and then it will run the test case. How many times you have mentioned it? How many parameter scenarios you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenarios you got. Okay, so just simply copy it and paste it again. You'll get 10 scenarios. Okay, now it's the same scenario again, but there is 10 scenarios. Okay, so this many number of times a single test case will be run. That is the reason why they are saying it's better. See, it has run 10 times. Okay, and we know that the fourth one will fail because it's 891. Okay, so this is how the data. This is all you have to do with the parameters testing. Okay, I told you in an easy way, right? I'll tell you that one as well, but that is the most common way everyone will use it. But this, you need to know this way. Okay, from this only that was born. Okay, to simplify that thing. Okay. I'm just going to copy the same thing again. Again, I need to tag the class, so run with, and it's going to be parameterized. No, that's it. Okay, now first, as usual, I'll first do it. Okay, so this is exactly identical to that one. So now how it will work is like again, so once it sees the parameter, once it sees the data which needs to be fed in, right, it will immediately search for the parameter tag. Okay, because it is a parameters tag. If it's not able to find the parameter tag, like no, what it will do, okay, it will search for the, it will how many inputs you are giving here, 3. It will search for a constructor which accepts 3 inputs. Okay, so it has found a constructor which accepts the 3 inputs because this is a constructor, okay, which accepts 3 inputs. And what it will do, it will just feed this 2 into v1, and then this 2 into v2, and then this 4 into v3. Okay, I just name it as r there. Okay, r, and then what you have to do is like you have to assign this v1 is going to be val1, and v2 is going to be val2, and r is going to be result, and that is going to be used in your test case. Okay, if I run this one, right, we'll get the exact same result as this one. See, it's the exact same result. I will explain it again. So in the multiplication test case, you have told the variables which are going to be used as a parameters, which is going to be a parameter, okay, where the data is going to be fed into. Okay, and then you have another tag called as parameters, where the what data needs to be fed in, you will get that value from. Okay, so how do you mark which is in which order it wants? You just tell it as 0, 1, 2, so that this index 0 will be this index, the first element goes into 0, the second goes into 1, and then the third goes into 2. Okay, so this is how you link these two from each other, and then this test case will going to be run multiple times. Okay, so it's that data won't be fed into the test case. Okay, the data will be placed in the appropriate position, and then the test case will be run once, and then the test case needs to make use of those variables. Okay, the locations where the data has been placed. Okay, if I don't use this, means like no, it's simply waste. Okay, the test case will run 10 times, but the thing is like no, it won't, if it doesn't use the values. Sorry, if it doesn't use the values which has been fed in, right, then it is useless. You don't need to run it multiple times. Okay, there is no point in running multiple times itself. Okay, so simple thing, you have to tell the J unit which are going to be used as a placeholder for the data, and then the actual data. That's it. And then the J unit will do, J unit will take the data and it will place inside the placeholder, and then it will execute the test case. The test case needs to make use of the placeholder. So for us the placeholder is val1, val2, and result, and that's what we have made use of. Okay, to do our test case. Okay, so this is as simple as this one. Now the simpler, if you don't want to, if you have a whole bunch of parameters, like if you don't want to do this, means there is one other way of doing it. So using a constructor. Okay, so when you have a parameters tag, right, it will search for the parameter and parameters. If it doesn't find the parameter, it will look for a constructor with exactly three which takes in 3 inputs. Okay, if I remove this one and then run it, means it should throw an exception. Yeah, no. Yeah, see this one, right? Wrong number of arguments. It means that it is expecting 3 a public. Go and say this. Yeah, it is expecting a public constructor with 3 which accepts 3 arguments. The reason why it is expecting 3 arguments is because that is the number of arguments you are trying to pass in for each scenario. Okay, each of this flower bracket represents one's own scenario. Okay, so if you have 4, means like no, you need to give 4. You can't have this kind of different ones. Okay, or sorry, you can't have this. All the scenarios needs to have equal number of things. Okay, so either when you want to add it, means like no, you have to add it all the things, and then you have to increase the argument, and then you can put it into any placeholder you want, and then the test case will make use of it. Okay, it's as simple as this one. Okay, so this is what the parameters testing. This is how they do the data-driven testing. Okay, in the testing world. Okay, there are a lot of other ways to do it. Okay, we can store the data in the Excel sheet. And then what you can do is like in the Excel sheet it will have a number of rows. Okay, each rows represent each scenario, means like no, you can tell 1, 2, 3, 4 here rather than having a multi-dimension. You can just tell just 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and then the scenario will be run 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what you have to do is like no, in your test case you have to write a way to extract the data from the from the Excel sheet, but the row is going to be 1. The where that value comes from, it will come from this parameters. Okay, that is how the real-time data-driven testing works. If I have time, I will have time. Okay, I will have time. What I will do is, like, now I will just do a small project or where it extracts the data from the Excel sheet, and then I will share it with you guys. Okay, go through that also, how it is being done. Okay, I highly recommend doing this parameters once. Okay, just practicing in the JUnit framework. There's only one thing which I haven't covered today for the JUnit framework, which is the suits. How do you do the if you have multiple test cases, means like, there is a way to create suits. It is really simple. Okay, just it will take only 2 minutes. Okay, it's really simple to do the suits. Okay, I'll do it now itself. Okay, so that you guys can have it with it. Okay, test, you can name it as a test suit. Okay, the same way how the suffix is test, right? If the suit means, if it needs to be named as a suit. Okay, yeah, again, as I mentioned, like, no, I highly recommend practicing with the parameters. Okay, otherwise you will forget it. Okay, so that's why. Again, the same thing. If this is going to be a test suit, right? How we tag the test case with the parameterized, right? In the same way, you need to tag this test case. Tell the test case it is going to be a suit. Okay. Oh, sorry. Art run with itself. Okay. You just need to tell it is going to be a suit. How we use the parameters there, right? Rather than using parameters, we just need to tell it's a suit. Okay. I think it's not imported. Dot class. That's it. Okay. And then once you do this, right now, you don't need to do anything. All you have to do is, like, no, it's really simple. No, you don't even need to go into this class. Okay. You just need to add suit. There is another annotation called as suit, and inside there is suit classes. Once I do this, I will explain to you what I've done here. So you just need to tell the different. That's all you need to do, nothing else. Okay, so what I've done is, like, now you just need to tell the first tag is going to run with, right? That will be always the first tag you need to use. Okay, if you want to use the run with tag. Okay, so run with suit class means, like, now immediately the JUnit will know that this is a suit. Okay, there's no test case there's no test case inside this suit or anything like that. It's going to be suit, which is going to comprise multiple test classes. That test class will have different test cases. Okay, and then you need to tell what are the test cases inside this suit. Okay, so for that, right, there is a tag called a suit, and then you just need to tell what are the classes inside this suit is going to be. Okay, so suit classes. Inside that one, all you have to do is, like, no, you have to mention all your test classes. Okay, so we have created 4 test classes. Okay, one is arithmetic test 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then multiplication parameters and multiplication test. Now all you need to do is, like, now right click it and run this test suit. It will run all the test cases. Okay, all the test cases under this class. Okay, you see this, right? So there is 4. This is a test suit. Under the test suit, there are 4 classes. Okay, under each class there is going to be different test cases. Okay, and it has got multiple different. If you look at this, right, at the top level itself, it gives you an indication there is a failure in this test class. All the test cases under this test class has passed. Okay, there are multiple test cases. There are multiple test scenarios under this one. 2 of them has failed. Okay, it's as simple as this one. So again, if you don't
excuse me, Bala.
Yeah,
is there a way to specify exactly which test case we want to run first, which test case we want to run second, and
you can't do it in JUnit. JUnit always follows the order which you have placed the test cases in. Okay, if in here there is a multiple test cases. Okay, in this scenario, okay, the first tag, what it comes from the top, whatever the first tag it comes across, it will do that one first. It will do the second. There is one small way to do it actually, but that's not how you can do is, like, no, you can name it as A, B and C is like that, and then you can force it. Even if you do this, right, if you place the B above A, right, B will be ran first. Okay, but if you want to force that in a lexical in an alphabetical order, means, like, no, there is a way to force it. Okay, I'll tell you guys in the next session how that is the only way I know in the JUnit you can force that is the only way. Okay, you can force the JUnit to run it in alphabetical order. Otherwise, the default method is like no, it is to run whatever test case it comes across first. Okay, that is one of the drawback in the. I know this one. Okay, for example, when I worked in on-cam, like no, that is one of the reason why I chose TestNG to use rather than JUnit because of the requirement. So that is what, as I told you in the starting, like you have to go through your requirement and you have to, based on that, you have to choose which framework you want to use. Okay, so now to answer the question, like no JUnit, right? We can't force the order of the test case. It will only execute it in order which is just comes across. Okay, the first test case. Okay, now going back to the test suite. Okay, so it's pretty simple test suite. It is self-explanatory. You can understand it. Okay, by looking at it. Okay, and again for the testing also, like now it's exactly the same. For example, to answer your question, Greg, I'll just tell you how you do it. In the testing, right? It's everything is the same. There is one more option called as priority in the testing. I think it's if you just do priority and then give one equal to one means like no, that will be the first test case which is going to be executed. That is how you do it in the testing. That is the reason like no, the annotations, everything will look very identical between JUnit and testing. Okay, and then there is additional features are available in the testing. Okay, that's all to it. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, so that is basic things you want to. So once you learn the parameters and then those are the important concept. Okay, data driven testing and then so how do you create the test suites? Okay, after that there are some additional feature, additional things are available like test rules. So for example, the test case failed. You want to analyze the test case failure means like no, there is a way to do it called test rules. Rules concept is there in the JUnit and then the category concept is there. Those are a bit advanced concept. Okay. We are not going to cover this one. I leave it, once you guys get familiarized with this one, like I leave it to you guys to go through that one. Okay, those are parameters testing. We saw that, and then we saw what is suits. Okay, some of the advanced topics are rule, and then category. There are a lot of other advanced topics are there. Okay, categories means like no, the group the test cases like slow test cases, fast test cases, medium test cases. So and then regression and then for specific area test cases. So if you want to run test cases belongs to certain category means you can do it. Actually, all you need to do is just mention that category. Only the test cases which are tagged with that special category will be run because. If you want to quick regression pack, you don't want to include the slow test cases in instruction. You can run only the fast. That's the purpose of the category. Rule is to like now usually say for example the test case has failed and you want to retry it couple of times. That can be done. And then if the test case has failed and you want to do something special means like no, that can be done. It's like interpretation. Okay, it's like going inside the test case. Okay. So those are a bit advanced topic you can learn on your own on your free time. You can just investigate what that is. Okay, but again, as I told you guys, I highly recommend because this initial annotation, it's really you can understand, you can remember it very clearly. Okay, but this parameterized on the suit is also really simple. But the parameterized concept alone, like now, I really highly recommend you to practice it. Okay, just practice whatever I will update this code, upload this code, but just practice whatever we have discussed today. That is more than enough. Okay. Okay guys, in the next session we will start with the project. Okay, I will come up with the proper project and then we will start it. We will use the JUnit framework itself. We will use the page object model system. We will automate one UI website, okay, one simple UI website, and we will just cover the basic. The only thing I want you guys to learn from that is like just how to build a framework. Okay guys, I will see you guys on next month. Speak to you guys again next month later. Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.